Lesson 6.4, using estimates to check for reasonableness. The directions say write an equation to solve the problem. Use mental math or estimation to show that your answer is reasonable. Okay, so to me, in order for this to be a useful practice, we'll set up the equation first, but then before we solve it, we'll do a mental math estimate. Then we'll solve it and see if our answer is reasonable by comparing it to the estimate. Let's get started. It took Quinn a quarter of an hour to do her science homework, and it took 2/5 of an hour to do her math homework. How much time was needed to complete the homework from both classes? Okay, so I'm going to use H for my variable. H is the total amount of time spent on homework. That's going to equal 1/4, which was the amount spent on science, plus 2/5. Pause here. I've got this set up as an equation. Now I'm going to do a quick mental math estimate. Well, 2/5, I'm going to say is close to a half. So my estimate is 1/4 plus 1/2, which I can do as mental math. I think the answer is going to be about 3/4 of an hour. Since in my estimate I rounded up, you could say, I know that the actual is going to be a little bit less than 3/4. But let's go ahead and solve it. To solve this sort of equation, we're going to need a common denominator. Will 5 work for 4? No, it won't. What is a multiple of 5 that will work for 4? 5, 10, 15, 20, ding, ding, ding. Okay, let's rewrite 1/4 as 5/20. Multiply bottom and top by 5. Let's rewrite 2/5 as multiply by 4, 8/20. And I get a final answer of 13/20 an hour. Is that a reasonable answer? Well, I know 13/20 is between 1/2 and 3/4. And my estimate was 3/4, which I knew was going to be a little bit high. So yeah, checks out. Number 2. A school bus stops at 2 locations. The distance to the first stop is 1 2/10 kilometers. The distance from the first stop to the second stop is 5 83/100 kilometers. How far is the trip altogether in kilometers? Let's solve for t. T equals 1 2/10 plus 5 83/100. Mental math. I'm going to round this down to 5 8/10. My estimate is going to be 1 2/10 plus 5 8/10, which I can actually do as mental math, and I'm going to say 7. Now let's stack this vertically and solve. Line everything up by place value. Fill in this spot with a 0. Insert the decimal point where it lies. And our answer is absolutely reasonable, very close to our estimate. Number 3, Wendy likes to buy apples for her friends. She purchased 6 apples and spent $9. What's the cost of an apple? Okay. A equals $9 divided by 6. My estimate here, well, I don't know. I guess I could say, look, if each apple was $1, then she would have spent $6. If each apple was $2, then she would have spent $12. So it's between 1 and 2. In fact, I think it's exactly between $1 and $2. I think it's $1.50. Let's prove it. Since it's the cost, I've got to keep going with my division. I may have to extend the problem. A remainder is not going to be useful for me. Or if I have a remainder, I've got to convert it to a decimal. So let's set it up. 6 goes into 9 one time. Subtract. Bring down. 6 goes into 35 times. Multiply, subtract. And yeah, it checks out $1.50. Now, if you were thinking 6 remainder 3, you can convert the 3 into a fraction first by showing it as 3 over 6 and then showing your answer as 6.5. Or sorry, not 6 remainder 3, 1. And then you simply have to convert 1.5 to decimal form. Either way works. Number 4, Phoebe swam her first lap in 27 and 3300 seconds. And then she swam her second lap in 81 hundredths of a second less. How long did it take Phoebe to complete her second lap? Well, let's see. My variable S is going to be the time from the first lap minus how much she improved, how much quicker she was in the second lap. I'm going to use some rounding here. I'm going to round this to 27, round it down. I'm going to round this up to 1 second, and I'm going to say her second lap was about 26 seconds. Let's see. 27 and 33 hundredths. Insert the decimal point. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 8, we've got to borrow here. 13 minus 8 is 5. And I get an answer of 26 and 52 hundredths seconds. That is reasonable based on the estimate.